Assalamualaikum, peace. It's Coach Fatimah again.
Assalamualaikum, peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla again. We are back, and I hope you guys are enjoying. We hope you guys are enjoying day 2.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun. Like this summit has been a lot of fun.
It has been
So
informative.
yeah,
It's just been so awesome.
So
All right,
yes.
guys, we're going to talk about a little bit about what Fatimah Omar Kamisa was speaking on with being, your own boss and like the commitment and the mindset you have to have in order to do so, because this is not like necessarily light work, but she's letting us know what that looks like. So she walked us through a few things. One thing that stuck out for me is stop the craziness. Some of the things, even though we're coaches, we had to go on a journey to get here. So there was a lot of things going on that were like clouding in my mind in different priorities that I needed to get together in order to do this work in entrepreneurship. So she was really awesome at talking about that.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I thought about when she's talking about being a coach. Okay, so I know maybe you guys can't. Some people may not be like, okay, because that wasn't my thing. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be a coach. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
When I was younger, and I was like, when I grow up, I want to be a coach. Was not the word that came after that. It was like, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor, pediatric neurosurgeon, for that to be exact. And but my thing is, as time went on, things changed. And the interesting thing is, I think some of us become coaches because we become that, what it was called the reluctant hero. People see that your life has changed, or you've done a number of things that make me think of what Mubaraka said yesterday. She was talking about Mubaraka Ibrahim. If you guys missed it, she Fit Muslimah. You guys register, you will get more information about her, be able to connect. But she was talking about how she didn't. That wasn't her journey to be, to be this health and wellness, health and fitness, person. Her whole thing was like, hey, I gained a lot of weight during pregnancy. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to lose this weight. And it worked. And other people started seeing what she did, and she was doing stuff for other people. And it was like, you know what, you can get paid for this. And she's like, wait, what? I could get paid for this. So I think that's the thing with what Fatimah was saying in what she was getting at as well, is that the business that you love is something that you love to do. And you create a business around or surrounding your passion and surrounding what you do. And whether we realize it or not, we all have something to offer.
Yeah, we do.
We all have that knowledge and what we may have been through. I just saw something. Oh my gosh, I just saw something about a book that said, I wish I could remember what I saw. It was just today, but it was talking about your life story, or something about creating this thing. It could be a bestseller, because your life story or your life's journey could be someone's blueprint or someone's survival guide or something on the lines of that, it said. And that was so interesting, because I'm like, you don't think about it that way. But of course, our co-wife and I, we write in these things, we write in journals, and and I like keep I keep my journal. I have journals from years, and like decorative boxes, hat boxes, whatever. And there from time to time I'll go through them, and I'll see certain things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is something that we can actually give.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I liked her talking about financial independence and freedom and all that stuff like that for women, especially, was really, really, really great.
Okay.
Especially with the summit.
Yes.
Especially with the summit. financial freedom and why that's important, especially with women. I love that. The lady that, I don't know if you are familiar with Skinny Girl, the Skinny Girl brand, but she was going through a divorce, and it was ugly. Like, it was one of the worst divorces that I've ever heard of or read about. And she was very emotional about it because her ex-husband became her stalker and everything else. She had ultimately sold the Skinny Girl brand, and she was crying. She said, "I'm not crying because of my situation. I'm crying for other women that want to do things or need an attorney or need to get divorced or anything like that, and they can't afford it."
Yeah. What I like, I like how things have tied together, in this summit. I like that we were talking about business, and, earlier today, Monica was our speaker that we started with. So
she was incredible.
Yeah. So I love the fact that she even talked about being on a hiatus and then going back and doing her business and creating this thing. So I truly love.
She got so into it and so active in it. It was refreshing because I've taken hiatuses before, and to hear her story, I was like, wow, you can really come back from a hiatus and just get moving and going and really add value to people. And that was my favorite.
And she was talking about entrepreneurship. Like, that's what's it's so cool how things tie in, because she talked about the entrepreneurship thing. It doesn't leave you. If you have this in you, it doesn't leave you. She's like, I took a hiatus, but I can get right back to doing it. And, and she, people, I'm like, we had a great time. It was like, yes, it's time to pull you back out into, into the spotlight, because there's so much information that she gives and that she has that, like when she was talking about the mental illness stuff,
she was educated.
There were so many things that I didn't know, like the cycles, and it's crazy because every time I say cycle, like the cycle, I think of psycho.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason not to talk about like mental illness, but to talk about mental illness, because I said we all have some type of form at times. Like, think about when we're going through our cycles as women.
Oh, I definitely feel mentally ill.
I call it the cycle. The cycles.
The other me.
So
but she was breaking.
But she broke down these things about these different triggers. And like I said, one of my favorite parts, a couple, I can't even pinpoint any type of favorite part. Because she got me with the micro moments, because I said, you know what, that's for real. That right there is something I never thought, to just take these micro moments, because I want to do. And she said, it's not that you can't do the big self-care thing. It's just like, don't only make self-care this big event. I love that.
She gave it a name. I'm like, I like that she called it a micro moment, and she gave something like that.
I love, she's like, whatever that visual cue is, that your family will see, be like, don't bother me.
Her headphone, her earbud.
Yes, I love that. Or laptop, open up the laptop, like, this is what it is. So it was just, so I'm going to say it again. Make sure you got a pen, paper, notebook, whatever. It's some really good gems is being dropped.
Yes.
The summit, I'm excited. I'm happy about it. I'm learning so much. And, even when you're speaking to people, when you're interviewing people, like we were interviewing, our wonderful visionaries and our influencers, it doesn't, just more information. It's like, okay, I want to hear this again. I want to hear it again. Like what they said, repetition is, the mother of skill, or the mother, mother skill, if I'm not mistaken. So the thing is that you want to continue to, you want to continue to watch it. You want to continue to listen, and you want to take notes if you can't rewind, which you can't with this. Yeah. So make sure you're on time for these speakers, and make sure that you are registered so you can get information to these wonderful speakers. Outstanding personal relationships.com. /summit. And so you can get the link to, so you get the emails, so you can get the links, because we are sending out emails. And at the end of the event, we will send out an email with the free gifts that are being provided by some of our speakers. So make sure you do that. But yeah, this has been very enlightening.
Yeah, yes.
Like, and all the, like I said, all of the visionaries, all of the influencers that we spoke with, that wasn't their thing. Like when it came to what they're doing, it wasn't, this is what I set out to do.
It's so interesting. Many of them said that.
And they're so successful in what they are doing because they love what they do. They
stepped out of their comfort zones with some things too.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear their story and them say, look, it's okay to step out of your comfort zone, because then we don't know what's on the other side. It's like who was talking about blocking our blessings, and even with Fatimah Omar, she was saying stepping out of your own way.
Mm-hmm.
And we both have our stories, and all the presenters have their stories of struggle and
mm-hmm.
how they went from point A to point Z, because that's what it looks like. And they all did their work.
Right.
And they're letting us know, look, this may take work, it may take time,
mm-hmm.
Money, investing in yourself, personal development, becoming a better version of yourself.
Right.
So true, because we've done that as well. We have our own personal story. We told you guys before, it wasn't always this way, but we did so much work on ourselves individually.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought?
Right.
Yes.
That was
so awesome.
That was not my plan, for my life or anything like that. However, it was what it was supposed to have been. Mm-hmm. And, being able to speak to women and empower women and different things like that. So, and to be able to hear from the speakers throughout this whole event. Monica Body. Monica, if you are watching, I'm sorry. Sometimes I keep screwing up your name and I keep saying Monica Bodie. And I know it's Body. I know it is. So, yeah.
I've done it a couple times myself. But, yeah, we've had, Fatimah Omar, Estella Rodriguez-Jabril, Aaliyah Kabir, Mecca Nandi is, but we've learned so much. And that's another thing. Coaches can learn things too. We don't stop in our personal development journey. Mm-hmm. So just know that, because even for my personal journey, I was like, okay, I'm here to facilitate whatever the needs are of this family. And I'll run a couple little businesses, little tiny ones off to the side. But what's beautiful about the summit is, there's young women watching. There's women of all different ages. Our children are watching. I know my daughter signed up, and there wasn't any prompting from me. So I was proud of them for that. But they also have told me, this is really cool what you guys are doing. I'm proud of you too. Because you guys are doing this thing, and, your co-wives, and we're letting people know, and the women in this summit are letting people know that it's okay, to share your story and be vulnerable. They have all been so vulnerable and strong, and letting us all know their journey. Yes. I forget. I'm having brain fog, y'all.
It's been a long summit, but it's been very enlightening and inspirational. So yes. While we are waiting for our next speaker, we want to let you guys know about just a number of things, like there's some personal stuff with us, like different things that we've learned, things that we've taken away from this event, because it's just been, as I said, and I'm going to continue saying, it's been amazing, it's been life-changing. We talked about that before, that, different summits, how you go in one way and you leave another way, because you can't leave the same once you know, your heart has expanded or your brain has expanded and those different things like that. So I was thinking about, well, just going back to day one. We had Zakia who started it off, who kicked us off.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful with the soul care challenge.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how important it is for, you know, to care for your soul. We talk about
Yeah.
self-care a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes our self kind of like, okay, this makes me, you know, feel better, or, you know, I need to relax, I need to unwind.
Right.
And that's kind of like my thing. It's like, okay, well, I need to unwind. And not thinking that it's this part, you know, this caring for my soul. And being able to, you know, like I never really thought about that. Oh, I'm getting like, when, because it's Ramadan, I realized that I'm doing so much more during this Ramadan than I have. And alhamdulillah, that's a good thing, because you should be getting better every year, every time. So my thing with this Ramadan, and it's, you know, the Ramadan of the restriction or quarantine or whatever.
Hitting different.
This one has been, and I always believe things happen for a reason. And I think so many of us, I know me, for me, is allowing me to buckle down a whole lot more on the things that I've said I've been wanting to do. I said, I'm like, oh, I want to read this. I want to learn this amount of surahs. I want to do this, you know, these things. And even though we are focused on these things during Ramadan, it's still other stuff. It's still running these errands. It's still getting these other things. But now when things are shut down and you have like this restrictive period, it's like now I'm like, oh, I can watch this, I can watch that, I can read this, I can write that. So like I've been watching a number of the Zooms that some of the different Muslim brothers and sisters have been putting together during this Ramadan.
Yep.
And, you know, so I've been definitely more serious in my soul care, you know. So Zakia, if you're watching, yes, you know, I'm taking that soul care challenge very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's, you know, alhamdulillah, there's some really, really good stuff in that.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe that, you know, it's true. Your focus changes, everything shifts. So even if now I really miss coffee, but I drink tea different. Even if it's a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, I'm like by myself, or, you know, I'm enjoying those micro moments.
That's what I was about to say. That's what Monica talked about.
Those micro moments.
The micro moments.
Even just that.
Where you're just sitting.
Well, just making the cup.
Really?
Even making a cup of, you know, I love my little Keurig. So, but just standing there waiting and making it and letting that be a whole dance. I love that kind of stuff. Just sit there and my youngest son, he's mildly autistic, so he's not very you got to run up on the brother and hug him, or tell him, please come give me a hug, because he doesn't initiate it a lot. And it was one of the signs when he was a baby or a toddler, like, I mean, before he was 12 months, he didn't cuddle a lot, and the other kids did, and he wasn't talking a lot. And I'm like, oh, something's going on. And the other day he cuddled with me for maybe 20 minutes. And that's a really long time for him. And my co-wife knows he's ripping and running constantly. That brother doesn't sit still. And that was my micro moment. And I just kept telling him I loved him and he's special. And he has this thing, y'all. I don't know where he got it from, but he likes to block the doorway, and then he'll say, "What's the password?" And we'll go, "Coronavirus," because that's what he told us. And then he'll let you through. Yes. And I remember past micro moments that I didn't even know were micro moments that I had with him. And of course, our other children, 2020, y'all. He would be sitting in the window. And we would always get these little fledglings, these little birds, and they would be chirping. And he would always scream out the window, "Watita, Watita," like that. And I'm like, what the heck is a Watita? My baby got autism. What's wrong with him? You know, I didn't know what to do. And then I learned there's different spectrum, you know, different levels on the spectrum. And as he got older, one of my daughters asked him, well, what is Watita? And he said, that's the sound the birds make. It's Watita. Watita. I was like, oh my God. But that was a micro moment to sit there and watch him, because I moved the couch from in front of the window, and he would just, as a 11-month-old, 12-month-old, just 15-month-old, just sit there and look and watch the birds fly back and forth. And I said, you know what, we can look back on micro moments and appreciate them. Yeah. So when Monica Body said that, I'm like, that's what that was.
I was thinking about that when you just talked about the birds chirping. I was thinking about when it comes to, and it's crazy because I'm saying all of these, the things that the sisters are saying throughout this event, it ties in. It's all over, all around self-care, it's all around personal development. But I was thinking about when you said, you were talking about the birds chirping. And I was thinking about hearing the birds chirp in the morning for Fajr.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's such a beautiful sound. Right? So it's such a beautiful sound. Yeah. So that's kind of like some micro moments. That's a micro moment. I'm like, oh, and then now I've noticed, and it goes into something in the morning where, we
ain't out there working their nerves and going so to work and stuff.
So it's so beautiful. And, just thinking about those different things, where just all throughout this event has been a blessing. Like I'm looking more into my support circle, like Aaliyah Kabir was talking about. I'm looking more into saying, okay, who are these people? And I actually reached out to someone, a sister today, who I was part of her support circle, and she was a part of mine. We haven't spoken in a while, not for any other crazy reason. It's just that,
everybody's living their life.
Right, you become busy. And I had to reach out today because she was on my mind, and alhamdulillah, she was just like, okay, I'm going through a little bit of something, but not anything much, just keep me in your dua. I'm like, alhamdulillah, inshallah, I would do that because that's what I do. So it's that stuff where it's like, let me reach out to the people who have supported me. Let me make sure that they're okay as well.
It goes both. To know that things can go both ways, and we don't have to. You don't need to wait on somebody else to reach out. Reach out to them. We had so many du'as in our family, in particular, be answered this month, even though it just started. And we have some private ones, and we have some very public ones with expanding, helping other people, and that's happening with this summit. It's so awesome. Somebody has been. Oh, okay. So true. Recently, I found myself mad about something once again. But I found that I was preparing for Ramadan and reading Quran. I had to decide. Could not keep both emotions very free. So true. Yes. There's so much freedom in
agree with
letting go. And we've had a couple speakers talk about letting go and letting wounds heal.
Yeah, we heard that from Estella when she talked about the 9 points of forgiveness. Well, she touched on it a little bit, but she has that available for
Please check it out. We're going to check it out
because that's the thing that, as I stated before, it's not that forgiveness is an issue for me. It's just forgiving certain people or forgiving certain actions, I guess I should say. And realizing, and it ties into spiritual stuff. It ties into, emotional things where it goes to the point where it's like, okay, am I forgiving this person for them or is it for me? And when I think about it being for me, it's like, okay, my betterment, my relationship with the Creator, my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I think about that, then it's like, it's so much easier for me to forgive and move on. Just because I forgave you don't mean that I have to forget. That's the thing, people forgive. Don't mean I have to forget.
Don't do that.
And just because I forgave you don't mean, that it's okay for you to do it again. That type of thing. It's like it's that stuff where we have to be mindful, and that's why I'm so excited and so just humbled by
Yeah.
the speakers that we have that have been giving some really great tips, because these are lessons that I'm learning from them and that I'm implementing into my life, even when it comes to just saying, you know what, let me reflect on that a little bit more. Let me be and
wait.
Yeah,
Let me just wait and think about
it, right?
Yeah.
You know, let me process this
Yeah,
type of
because
thing.
everything doesn't have to be, that's super important. Let me process it, because we don't take time to decompress and process our emotions and how we feel about what we said or what somebody said to us or did to us or what we did do or didn't do. We don't just wait and breathe and stop and process our thoughts. We just want to react. I love practicing putting myself a time out somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Sit down.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I sit my kids down when they act up.
Mhm.
And my kids are older, except for my 8-year-old. But go have a seat. You need to go sit down and think for a little bit and calm your mind.
Yeah.
You know,
I get
and I'm
that.
like, why do I tell them that and then I don't do it? So I said, I need to go somewhere, sit down, maybe bang out some art, something, and quiet my mouth and my mind, because them two things get going.
Yeah,
I won't be on the end of that.
I like that you said that,
Thing is
because
a mess. Especially
I
during
that.
Ramadan.
You know, and have you guys chime in if you have? I mean, because I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's not anybody else but me. But during Ramadan, or right now during this Ramadan, I swear my days, it's only the third day, but apparently
It feel like the 15th day.
Apparently things are trying to get like on my last remaining nerve. And this right here, this summit is like
twinsies.
I think this summit has been like a beacon of light in my life.
That's true. That's true though.
To me, it came at it couldn't have come at a more perfect time.
Allah's the best
plan.
We didn't rehearse that show.
That was our
He just is.
And so I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
Yes. And and it's been,
we got chairs moving out of the way.
Chairs moving, like
purses falling over, people in the streets,
people
like
acting a fool.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of different things. And to be able to be conscious of your soul care, being conscious of your mental health, being conscious of this stuff that our sisters are reminding us to do is amazing. Thank you. I'm so humbled. Like I said, I'm so humbled and so grateful for the sisters who are speaking at the summit. So
yeah, we're learning. We're learning from them as well. And we don't, we're coaches, but we don't always act right. We're not always our champion self. We're humans.
Yeah, not our best self at all. Yeah.
So we've had many instances where we've had to be each other's support system.
Yes.
And we have our own friends outside of each other that, they don't intermingle yet. I would hope one day, once we come out of restriction, that we can have something for those very special ladies in our life. But oftentimes co-wives have to be the voice of reason for each other. And it's a sisterhood, of course, within the same family. And we operate in a way where we look at it just like that. Because if I can't operate properly and Coach Nyla says, we're going to just start over or whatever, that helps me be a better wife, a better mother, all those different things. Because again, we're not married to each other. We share the same husband. That's okay. Our culture is Islam and we don't hide from it. But within that, we still have our own moments where we're just like, I need to vent, or I need somebody to remind me of Islam. And oftentimes when you're in polygyny, that's your co-wife. I mean, we did train about it, but we did train about different things. But it's okay if she's the voice of reason.
I'm going to tell you one word for me: breathe. Breathe. That's that word. But you like breathe.
Yep.
Breathe. And then I breathe and I say,
oh, because that you told us.
I'm in the vehicle by myself. And, you know, I not that I can't be by myself, so don't get it to guys.
But dang.
But I freaked out so much. Like, I really gave myself anxiety being out I was just running a couple errands. And I meant to just run, you know, a couple places turned into like several places because, you know, just how things are right now. It's hard to find things where it's supposed to be. Exactly. So, but I actually forgot something. So I forgot something at the store that I could have gotten it at. And I was like, oh man, I can't leave this thing. So I'm not going to go back to this store. I'm just going to go to the store that's near the house. But I'm looking around and people are everywhere. Like, to me, it freaked me out because I'm like, why are there so many people out here right now? Did I forget? Did I miss something? Was it something lifted and I didn't know? Just that short little time that I've been out. So I'm totally freaking out because I see masks everywhere and then I see people everywhere.
World War Z.
Right. So this is why your mental health and your support system is very important. So I'm driving and I'm talking to my son. Well, I'm like, I can't say FaceTime because
we have a mount in the vehicle.
Yeah, because it's a mount. So I'm like, it's not FaceTime and it's whatever. It's video chat.
Yeah, video chat.
And I'm talking, you know, he's just, you know, doing his little thing. He just listens to me from time to time. And I'm like, okay, I got to go do this real quick. Oh my gosh, why are these people out here? And why are these people? They're everywhere. Oh my gosh, people are at the park. Why are they at the park? This is crazy. And you know, and I was like, oh, the world is going to, the ground is going to open up and swallow everybody because this is not how it's supposed to be. And this is constantly going on in my head. I'm creating this mental issue in my mind. And I hit the side of I hit the arm on the passenger seat and I thought it was a hand.
Oh my God, that took me out. I almost lost a lung right.
Like I'm screaming.
Oh my
Seriously,
God.
Your mental health is very important.
Your
support system is very important because if my co-wife was with me, I would have known that she was there. We've been talking.
I wouldn't have paid no mind to that. See, I wouldn't have thought, oh, maybe they made an announcement. You think more than I do.
I
was like, oh, they must
be
having a sales.
It was constantly going to like, why are people out here? The world is going to open up and swallow everybody. Something is going to happen. It's going to be, you know, this is the apocalypse. I mean, whatever. It was just a lot of craziness that was going on in my head.
I needed it.
So I had to learn. No, but the thing is that it's a lot of stuff that goes on, and it's a lot of things. What I'm saying is we create a lot of things in our heads.
Right. And the whole scenario, you made a whole movie.
I did everything was in my head, and it made me. It freaked me out so bad that I was literally. I mean, I really was anxious. Where I'm like, I gotta get home. I gotta get home. I gotta get home. You know, whatever. And I got home, and I was like, no, I'm not going back outside. I'm not going.
We didn't call. Bonus baby didn't say, Mom, the world's ending here where I am. It did nothing. It just was like a whole.
I created this whole thing in my head.
Just a whole thing.
And I think we do that. So this summit has not come at a better time. Could not have come at a better time because every time I'm watching in a training from one of these sisters, every time I'm looking at my notes that I've taken during this summit, it reminds me of the stuff that, you know, it reminds me of the important things. And it reminds me of just really taking that time out. Every one of these sisters talked about taking charge of your life. Every one of these sisters talked about a way to be powerful, to be strong, to be mindful of the things that are going on within you, and to use that to your advantage, and to use that to the best of your abilities, and you know, to be able to be reminded of that, you know, throughout this summit, and as well as in the notes that I've taken, is an amazing thing because we definitely need it. I know I need it. So, you know,
I surely do. And what was awesome too is that they were letting us know what it looked like, because sometimes we don't even know what's happening to us. So they were reassuring us that it's a thing.
Yeah,
it may be happening to you, and this is what it looked like for me, but this is what it might be looking like just on a general basis, that what you were saying, anxiety and different feelings, different emotions, and us following our gut, or maybe we're overthinking something that, was, in our gut, So it was so good because it really, the summit is really so amazing because you can sit while you're learning and reevaluate different things in your life, what you're going through, what you might be feeling or struggling with. Being a coach, even when Fatimah Omar was speaking about coaching, and I just resonated with all the great speakers we've had in the summit. There was something in there for everyone. It just was. Muslim women, and the sister was saying that, Mubarak was saying that, how we wear different hats, and for her to bring that up, I was like, we wear so many different hats. Sometimes just knowing that we have those different hats on will drive you crazy.
Yeah.
And it gives you this sense of, I can't do it all, but then we have to give a lot to self-talk and say, well, I can't do it all today. We try to do everything at one time, and who told us that it wasn't okay to take a break?
Right.
We just beat ourselves up sometimes as mothers, and especially mothers that work or that are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We need that reminder.
Yeah.
From this summit that we can do some stuff, but take care of you.
I like that. Even when Mubarak was talking about the taking the time out and being Mubarak,
Yeah,
she said that. I love that. And she did a live yesterday, and she was taking a hike, or she had this hike. And it was a beautiful thing, because I'm like, look at that. She's taking this time out and she's doing this workout and things like that, which we need to do. We need to get, even though it's Ramadan, we need to get some type of fitness in, and check out Mubaraka Ibrahim's information. She'll let you know how you can do that during Ramadan. But what we are about to do now, we have about 2 minutes before our next speaker gets on. So we want to make sure that you guys have time to register if you have not registered, because it's not going to be on this channel right here, on this YouTube station right here, or YouTube station, whatever. Just make sure you go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/summit so you can get your link. And those who already got the link, that's the link that you're going to go to in order to watch our next speaker. All right. And our next speaker is Catherine Jones, and you are in for an amazing treat.
Yeah.
So yes, we're on our way over there now. So we will see you in the summit. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Sister